Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 1973 Winter Baseball Classic Tournament. The fourth and final installment in the third round, elimination, best of three. We've got a game today between Mississippi and Sea Tac. And has been the norm in this round, the favored team has been holding serve. We'll take a look at that. Recap, Savannah, the number 8, took care of number 9, 2-1. We had number 7, Hollywood, take care of St. Pete, 2-1. We had Rhode Island take care of Tucson, 2-1. Now we have number 11 versus number 6. Imagine this like one bracket in a March Madness. We have 11 at 6. Same scenario as we played previously, where the underdog has to win 3 out of 4. Not 2 out of 3. And game 1 went to the favorite, Mississippi, making things even more glum for Sea Tac. Game 1, Mike Caldwell of Mississippi defeated Clay Kirby of Sea Tac. So we are in Sea Tac for game 2. They get to play a home game if it's an elimination game, but then 3 and 4 would be back in Mississippi regardless. Today's matchup, and it's a good one. Mississippi has Nolan Ryan. The California Angels are watching and wondering which Nolan Ryan card they'll pick in their timeline. We think it'll be the 73 card. And the Tigers doing the same thing with Mickey Lolich. Do they go to the 73 card? Well, you could bear witness, folks. If one of these pitchers tosses a dud today, the Angels and Tigers might go, let's consider 74, 5, or 6. That's the type of analysis like that, which is why we play the Winter Baseball Classic. Leading off for the visitors, Mississippi, Wayne Garrett, 67 is a strikeout. Tim Foley, 57 is a strikeout. Mickey Stanley, 211, flies to left. Great start for Mr. Lolich. Mike Jorgensen, 6'10", short X. Foley's a 2E34 at short, and he makes the play. Chris Spire, 67's a K. And Joe Rudy, 55, is also a K. Good start for Ryan. Frank Howard, in what will be his last year in baseball, 38's a walk, at least against left-handed pitching. Ken McMullen, 55. Homer 1-4 off Lolich. It's a 2-base hit, and Howard will stop at third. Gorman Thomas, very young Gorman Thomas here, 1-9 strikeout. Duke Sims playing right field today. Very versatile. Could catch and play the outfield. 5'11 for Duke. Second X. This will score a run. The second baseman is Frank White. A 40-30 for Frank. He's not quite there yet defensively. Takes him some time. RBI ground out. Runner at third. 2 outs for Bill Stein. And he flies left. 1-zip. Rick Monday. 55 is a K. Bob Oliver, 110 short. And Frank White, 69K. We've often commented about Nolan Ryan that the 72 year in California was the best year in California. And probably the last year in California in 79 when they made the playoffs, before they traded him to the Houston Astros, it's probably the second best year. In the middle, the walks start to pile up along with the strikeouts and the hits. You get 300 innings with 200 walks and 200 strikeouts. 300 innings, 200 hits, 200 walks, 200 strikeouts, something like that. So, something for California to think about in this timeline. Top of the third. Duffy Dyer, short X. Spire is a 2E36. He makes the play. Wayne Garrett. 2-2. Rolls to first base. Tim Foley, 111. Pops out to second base. Von Joshua, 2-4. Grounds are short. Harmon Killebrew, just like Frank Howard. These two gentlemen are probably at the end of their ropes, trying to find a spot as a DH versus lefties, maybe. Something like that. 64 for Killebrew, center X. Your center fielder is Mickey Stanley, 1E3. Great defensive center fielder. If only his bat Would have held up the other end of the bargain. Phil Roof, 49, and another strikeout. Ryan has 5 of them. The critical key for Ryan will always be walks. If they can just master the walk, because it really hurts him in Strat-O-Matic. Probably hurts him more in Strat-O-Matic than it does in Major League Baseball history. It just doesn't translate well to this game. Maybe to other board games Ryan would translate well. It just doesn't translate well to Strat-O-Matic. Mickey Stanley, 1-6, lines a third. Frank Howard, 35, strikes out. Ken McMullen, 69, second. Bottom of the fourth, the perfect Ryan. Second time through. Mike Jorgensen, 112, perfect no more. That is a solo shot. It's tied at 1. Chris Spire, 46, single one of 4. He actually ground ball second C. So that's another little dig that Strat put on there. They could have made that line out to second, but no. It'll move a runner up, which hurts the pitcher's effectiveness just a little bit. Probably didn't have to do that to Ryan. They did. Joe Rudy, 68's a K. And Rick Monday, 211, grounds a second. Fifth inning, pretty balanced game. Gorman Thomas, 612, flies to right. Duke Sims, 34, rolls to first. Bill Stein, 42, right. If you've been watching the last elimination rounds, the team on the ropes won their game at home every time, but then they could not finish they could not win another one. So that's what's the pattern for Sea Tac to come back and win this game and then lose a game 3 in Mississippi. That's what the pattern suggests. Let's see if it plays that way. Mississippi gets a 2-game sweep, or Seattle rips off 3 straight. That would be different. Bob Oliver, 68, is a K. Frank White, 48, there's a walk. First one of the day. Von Joshua, 47, there's a walk. Second one of the day. Harmon Killebrew, 59, is a K, and with 2 outs. All or nothing. Bats are on the shoulders here in the 5th inning. Phil Roof, 67. Yep, I don't think anybody swung the bat. We have 2 walks and 3 strikeouts in that frame. We go to the 6th. Duffy Dyer, 1-4, is the ground to the 3rd. Wayne Garrett, 67 Ks. Tim Foley, 39, pops to short. Bottom of 6, Jorgensen, 67 is a K. Crispier, crunchier, Chris Spire. Great taste, less filling. Is it a dessert topping? Is it a floor wax? Is it a dessert wax? Is it a floor topping? Something like that. Crispier, crunchier, 4-7, walks after all that. Joe Rudy, 42, left X. What's out in left field? Gorman Thomas, a 3-13. Eventually becomes a 1 outfielder and a 1 center fielder. But not now. Not when he's this young. It's just that's going to be a 2-base hit. Second and third, the infield comes off for Rick Monday. There's a strikeout on 6-7. He's got a bunch today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of them. Bob Oliver, 1-7. Make it a baker's dozen for Nolan Ryan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In striking distance of all-time strikeout record. I think 16 is my record in Strat. I got 12. Possibly 3 more innings left. Ooh, Ryan's a starter 9. He can pitch 10 if needed. 1-1, top of 7. Mickey Stanley. 33, flies right. Frank Howard, 35, is a K. Ken McMullen, 58, is a K. Mickey Lolich, doing his job. Bottom of the 7th, Frank White. 58, 13th K of the day. Von Joshua, 2-8, grounds the first. Just missing a K. And Killebrew, 69, 14th K of the day for Lynn Nolan Ryan. Wow. Mike Jorgensen, 1 swing. And the game is tied. Yeah. 1-1 into the 8th. Lolich star rate, he'll continue. Gorman Thomas, 39 Ks. Duke Sims, 1-8 is a single 1 to 16. Base hit. Beer Stein, 2-3, a fielder's choice. And with 2 outs, Duffy Dyer, 6-10. Third X, Bob Oliver's a 4-24 at third base. Makes the play. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Chance for Ryan to tie the all-time strikeout Strat-O-Matic record with 16. Phil Roof, 2-6. Uh-oh. Base hit. Up top to Mike Jorgensen, who is the offense to this point for Sea Tac. 2-7. Oh, that should be a strikeout. It's a fielder's choice. He's a base stealer. Why not steal a base? Oh, Dyer's got a -2 arm. Chris Barr, why don't you do a hit and run? That's a cheap way to get out of a strikeout. He pops out. That's kind of mean. Why don't you try stolen base now? That's another way of getting out of a strikeout. And he's out stealing, so that's a cheap way for Ryan not to get his 15th strikeout by hitting and running and attempting a steal. Both failed. Into the 9th, 1-1. It'll be Wayne Garrett. 5-10 Ks. By the way, strikeouts for Lolich are up as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Tim Foley. 2-5 pops out. Mickey Stanley, 45, flies to center field. Don't blame Mickey Lolich. If Sea Tac gets eliminated from this tournament, he pitched fantastically through 9. Bottom half of, it'll be Joe Rudy. 59 is a K. That's number 15. Rick Monday. 3-12 grounds the first. And Blob Oliver, 1-5, flies to left field. Well, Ryan can get an asterisk because he can pitch 10 innings. Can't pitch 11. That's my rule for starter 9s. Unfortunately for Lolich, he's not a starter 9 anymore, he's a starter 8. Normally, Lolich would go into the 10th inning as well. So we're going to denote that the ghost runner is Mickey Stanley at second base. I think I'm just going to continue with a lefty. That seems to be working for the home team. And it's the closer. Closers normally come in on the top of the 10th. That's Tom Hall. Cincinnati Red, 8-5, 346 earned run average. Was better in 72, still good in 73. Tom Hall will come on in the 10th inning. Runner at second. And it's Frank Howard. 47 for Frank is a strikeout. Not a good look there. Ken McMullen, 1-5, grounds short with 2 outs. Gorman Thomas, 1-7, a strikeout. All right, Ryan in the bottom of the 10th. It's Frank White, Von Joshua, Killebrew. We have Bob Oliver is your ghost runner at second base. Denote that there. Now, if you want to do the bunt, infield up kind of thing, I would do it if he was an A bunter, maybe a B bunter, but a C bunters, I generally don't like to bunt. Plus, Frank White's got a lot of hits on his card anyway. It's about a 280 hitter. So, Frank White will swing away. 2-7, another ground out. We're only 7s. I'm expecting K's to be on the card and not there. Runner does not advance. Von Joshua, 42, center C. Runner does not advance. And Killebrew, 6-10, catcher's X, and that would not score a run. If you move the runner up, you could cheaply win the game on a pass ball. Duffy Dyer's a 2-3 catcher. You get a ground ball C, which wouldn't have won the game anyway. And that is 10 innings in the book for Ryan. He did not set a strikeout record for Strat for me, but he pitched incredibly well. Didn't walk many people either. The Angels would be impressed with this card. Definitely. All right. Tom Hall's second inning of relief. And we have Gorman Thomas being the ghost runner at second. Gorman could run, always could, 15. Second inning of relief for Tom Hall. He'll face Duke Sims. 3-12, we get a Lomax on a line out second. Max Gorman just leaned the wrong way. That's a 4-4-4 double play. Line out, touch the bag. Ouch! Bill Stein. 35's a K. Oh, Sea Tac, we've given you plenty of opportunities to get this win. We actually got Ryan out of this game. Oh, boy. Normally, I don't bring the closer in unless we have a lead, so Sparky Lyle will have to wait his turn. They're struggling against righties as well. We're going to go to Tom Walker, who is on the keeper list for the Expos. Tom Walker will come trotting out of the bullpen, the Expos, or want to see how their player. He was a 3.62 ERA in 1973 and 92 innings. He'll come on in the bottom of the 11th. The ghost runner is going to be the guy who made the final out, Harmon Killebrew. That's not good. He's a slow ghost runner. Plus, Phil Roof's a C bunter again, so that strategy is just not playing out for Sea Tac. You can see why they're not a very good team. All right, 6-3 for Phil Roof. First C. Well, they get a break. They get a ground ball to first. Killebrew advances, and now that he's at third, you got to really think long and hard about the sac fly. If the sac fly opportunity happens, you got to run with it. So we're going to put Mick Kelleher. He's a 12 runner, plus he's good defensively. He'll come in for Killebrew. If the game continues, he'll take over at short as well. He's over at third base. The infield comes up, and it's Mike Jorgensen. 3-10, and there's a base hit for Mike Jorgensen. A little inside baseball in the bottom of the 11th inning. That'll score, yep, the pinch runner, Mick Kelleher, and that is a 2-1 victory for the home team. As these, the teams that win game one, it's almost like it's a gentleman's sweep. They'll go on the road, lose that game, then come back home and finish them off. Looks like we're continuing that pattern, folks. Tom Hall pitched 2 nice innings on beyond Mickey Lowell, which is 9 good innings. Nolan Ryan, a 10-inning no decision. Tom Walker loses because of a couple ground balls and a blue single. And that's game 2. Series tied a game apiece. The series will resume in Mississippi. Game 3, Sea Tac will send Bert Blyleven out there. And Claude Osteen for Mississippi. And if it does go to a game 4, Mississippi will have Carl Morton in there. And Carl Morton will battle Kenny Holtzman. So some good pitchers. Good starting pitchers in this tournament. There's actually... the most depth we'll have is starting pitching. Bullpens are weak. Offenses obviously are weak. So we'll give you the result and let you know who wins the series. Also, we'll show you the 20 cards of the team that gets eliminated. So stick around, folks. All right, folks, back with the eliminating team here. Are we going to have a buck from tradition? Are we going to have a team come back and win Game 3 and Game 4? No. Mississippi took care of Seattle in Game 3. Bert Blyleven started in Game 3. He went 10 innings. It was still 2-2. They had to take him out after 10th, and they won in the 11th in Mississippi. Poor Seattle. Lots of pitching. No offense whatsoever. So they're done. We'll get to see a lot of that nice pitching here soon. First consideration, we have carry-on guys. We're not concerned with these guys. Jorgensen's got a better card in 74. Rick Monday in 74. Phil Roof's got a ridiculous card in 75. And I think Yeager's got a good 74 as well. So none of those 4 cards need to be considered for the carryover league. We've got the first group of keepers. The Angels have the rights to Bob Oliver, and he's a steady corner infielder, can play the outfield, right-handed stick. 18 homers, 265, full season. You just got to find a position for him. Worst case is a utility player, but he'll find a spot, I believe, for the Angels. So Joe Rudy, 73, he's not as good. Basically 72 and 74 were the good Rudy years. In between is this year in 73. Good news for Oakland, the rest of that offense took off in 73. That was probably the best year in the dynasty, yet it was the worst year for Rudy. It's kind of weird how that worked out. Chris Spire, he's got this good year defensively as a 2, though the punch is down a little bit. 249 with 11 homers. Certainly decent, certainly can play. But we have other cards to consider. This Blyleven card, I just played it, and boy, this guy was lights out. 4-8 strikeouts on both sides with a starter 9 on 3 days rest. Yep. Have to ignore the one-loss record, folks. The 17 losses, the 2.52 ERA, 325 innings. I gotta think the Twins just applaud this card. Go right to it. Mickey Lolich, so he's not as invincible as he once has been. Ton of postseason history, both good and bad for Detroit. But look, he's given up the long ball with more regularity than before. Lefties are touching him up. They never used to. He used to be a starter 9, starter 8. Age is creeping up on all these Tigers, but that's still a good card for Mickey Lolich. Kenny Holtzman, Dynasty A again. Dynasty Oakland pitcher. We're comfortable with Hunter, Torres, and so Holtzman, we got to pick out which is his best year. Is it this year or is it 74? Clay Kirby, this is not the year for him. He wants 74. There's a good year in 74 when he's traded to the Cincinnati Reds. Speaking of the Cincinnati Reds, Tom Hall was better in 72. He was 10-1. Here he's starting to get a little less dominating. 8-5, 346. Still gets his lefties out. Righties starts to give up the long ball a little bit. Next, look at the guys who've been put on waivers. Kelleher is one of these guys as a 2 shortstop. Usually signs a 1-year contract because the bat is so bad. And that's the case. Someone will pick him up. You know, it's right as death and taxes. 2 shortstops get picked up in the carryover league whether they hit 184 or not. Someone's going to grab him for the Tunis. Killebrew. You know, we looked at Willie Mays on the previous interview, and we said we don't want to play the Mays card because it's so bad. With Killebrew, and again with Frank Howard of the Mississippi team, I'm in a similar thought. I don't want to play the Killebrew card if it's going to be bad, but really this is not too bad because I can get him in a platoon over here. That's just not enough home runs. I don't know. I don't think I would go because he actually continues into 74 and 5, so I'd probably say no to that. Ray Lamb was on Cleveland with a nice 72 card as a righty who gets lefties out, and it's kind of looking the same thing, but he's not quite as good against lefties. But yeah, this is still definitely good enough as a relief 4 to get into the league. So someone will sign Ray Lamb. Ed Farmer, he had a stint with the Padres after a White Sox stint and a Tiger stint, or Tigers, Padres, and the White Sox. 4.91 ERA, he is just a guy out of the pen, nothing special. All right, now the undrafted free agents, guys who haven't been in the league yet. Von Joshua, we've already scouted out Von and discovered he's outstanding in 1975 for the Giants. So that's almost a lock at this point. So we wouldn't even consider this version of Von. Bob Mitchell's a corner outfielder with the home runs against the lefties. Is it enough? Is that enough to get him into the league? Batting average isn't the greatest. You'd prefer him to be a one-way player if you're going to get him in here at all. There's not defense. He's got some wheels. He is right on the edge, folks, of potentially being in the league because of the home runs and the fact that he has some mobility there. Defense, though, is going to hurt his chances. Batting average is going to hurt his chances. I don't think Kansas City's interested in this version of Frank White. Though the batting average is okay on the right side, but not the bad defense. We don't want to see Frank White fumbling ground balls when we know he's a Gold Glove second baseman in the future. Jackie Brown, 30 years old, still hasn't been in our league yet. He's got some nice years coming up, though. This is a reasonable card as well. It's got a 3.92 ERA, though he does put a lot of men on base. The whip is 1.7. So, let me double check that. 1.60. 1.60 whip. You can kind of say he gets lefties out, or at least doesn't give up hits, just walks. Homer's there. Not crazy about the card. Just a guy, like we've said quite frequently to this point, for right-handed relievers. They're just guys. And that eliminates the 8th team in the Winter Baseball Classic. When we resume, we're back to best-of-5 series. The teams who had byes now have to play some legit baseball. Most of these best-of-5s are 3 games to 2s. A couple of the series, they'll need a tie-breaking Game 6. So that'll be coming up next in the Winter Baseball Classic Tournament. Thanks for checking it out. We'll see you next time.